welcome to 2024. It's Wisdom's time.
Yeah, it's a big welcome from us. We're going to make the Wisdoms a lot more regularly this year. We look forward to a big year. This is our welcome back to 2024 Wisdoms episode, and we're going to rip into it properly in February. So we welcome your questions, and we look forward to a whole year of working with you.
So come and join us.
Well, welcome to 2024.
Thank you very much, Cameron.
Now, what's going on around here? There's all these people buzzing around
I
the
know.
place and in the background. So.
I know. Yeah. No, we're getting some tidy up maintenance done, and that includes replacing all the decks.
Sounds
so.
cheap.
Yeah, it's certainly not cheap, but we've got great people that have been with us for a long time, and it's just this house sits in the full sun, and it's taken its toll. Yeah. So we're tidying it up.
Cool.
We've got a big garden tour happening soon to support breast cancer, so I thought
it's got to be
why not do the deck?
Fair enough.
Bloody hell. But anyway, that's the story. But Happy New Year to you. Lovely to talk again. We're under pressure this year, Cam, to actually perform, make sure that we keep very consistent with this. So that's going to be one of our goals.
That's the goal for this year.
Consistency.
Yeah. It's first week back this week, so we're all easing back into it.
First for you, second for me. I was there early. But I was so glad you had a great break.
Yeah.
And most people, to be fair, most folk have come back this week of the 15th, and we've got some also coming back next week, which is cool as well.
Yeah. As a real estate agent, it's a great time to have
a
break. Although I felt this year was quite busy. We sold 6 houses over the Christmas break. Wow. We've cleaned up pretty much all of the stock that we had leading into the Christmas break. So it's a great time to sell because there's no new listings coming on.
Yeah.
So generally, if your house is well priced and a good house,
it'll go.
It'll sell.
It'll go. So
we're starting the year fresh. Everyone goes away, does a bit of business planning, relaxes, and come back fresh. And the busy season is from sort of February through to April.
It
so
is.
We're looking forward to that.
Totally. Hey Cam, while I was away at Christmas, because I did a little bit of socialising as we're known to do, but I had quite a few questions, and I wonder if I can start pitching them. Okay, so I was asked, what does Cameron do to prepare for a new year? Like, how does New Zealand's #1 real estate consultant look at the year ahead, and what do you do? Not only what you do professionally, but what do you do personally as you plan your year? So lead us into that.
I mean, first of all, talking about business planning and relaxing, when I'm away, I always try and take a bit of a quiet day or two and try and work out where I'm going for the year as a team, personally, within business, and also home life as well. So I think it's a great time when we've got a little bit more time to relax and think about
You'd be more creative, can't you?
I think so.
Without the daily pressures.
And you can regroup. I think heading into the end of the year, everyone's just focused on getting to Christmas, getting the sales done, and then actually relaxing. Yes. So I do a lot of business planning and work out what I'm doing for that time of year. We have a team vision. We have a sit down with the team before Christmas just to sort of talk about a few possible ideas. We've come back with a new vision and sort of a new plan. We've also got a new PA in the team, so Angie's just started in our team. We're really looking forward to her being part of the team.
And you refine everything, which I really respect and like. I know that as you look at every aspect of your business, you're thinking, how could this be a little bit better, guys? And not in those big leaps and bounds which are hard to actually formulate or finalize, but you're always looking at those wee incremental things that can make stuff better, and I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's always a small step, small movements, every day change you, and we're just looking that's exactly right. We look at our whole business and we look, how could we get better? What's an area that we can focus on? So with the listings, a lot of the setup comes in from last year. We're already set up. A lot of our work was done pre-Christmas, so we had a lot of properties listed already, coming to the market. So really, we don't get back here and we're scrambling for listings.
In 2023, you're already well forecast into 2024. So you're reading the market, you're reading the needs of your clients. You're looking at your team and thinking, hey guys, where can we get involved with this? And you are right in there doing that.
It's a nice feeling going into the Christmas break, knowing you've got some listings to come back to, knowing you've got some auctions booked. We actually had some photographs done already for some properties.
Wow.
So we knew already, when we were starting auctions, when we were, hitting the ground again, when everyone was coming back. So, it was nice because we didn't have to stress about it too much.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of agents come back and there's this frenzy of going out trying to
A
prospect.
little bit of
and trying to
madness,
list
isn't there?
And it's all too late.
Yeah.
All of that
It
work
is.
should be done.
Yeah.
Some of it we were doing in November last year,
Yeah.
and we're actually just appraising property,
Yeah.
and they were saying that they were going to put them on in
Yeah.
February next year. So
I mean, if there's lots of real estate professionals who watch this, and so I'm hearing prep ahead, prep ahead, restart, and when you come back, refine.
Yeah, we're always running 3 months ahead. So
Yeah.
we've got a board in our office that shows you all the listings we've got coming up, the ones we haven't got listed, the ones we've got listed but aren't on the market yet. So you can, if you come into our office, you can forecast what we're going to be doing for the next 3 months, and we can feel it. I've been in it so long now, we can feel what's happening with the market. So because we've got listings at all different price ranges all over Canterbury, we're a barometer of the marketplace.
Totally.
And I just spoke to somebody yesterday, and they're in Sydney. We sold their house last year in Fendleton to let them go over. It had been on the market with another agent who unfortunately didn't sell it. We got it sold within a month for them, and she was so happy that it had sold. It was interesting because she was telling me the Sydney markets came back quite a lot. They were looking at property in Sydney when they got over there.
Yeah. Sort
of the places that they were looking at were sort of 5.5 to 6 mil. She said now if they bought the same property, it's probably around 5 mil. So
it's a big retraction, isn't it?
Come back a lot, yeah. I mean,
yeah.
It's probably not a lot at that level, but it still shows you that the market's hurting. I always think the Australian market and New Zealand market are quite similar.
They duplicate each other, yeah.
Yeah, and it's the world. The world out there is still unsettled. There's higher interest rates. There's big inflation.
Yeah.
There's going to be very little capital gain in the next few years, I believe. I've never seen a market that goes down and goes up like that.
Unless you had, you were just going to say it, those phenomenons. We've had earthquakes here in Christchurch, and we've had COVID.
Yeah.
So unless there was another, some big bugger thing.
Yeah, and then it goes down first. So
yeah.
I think what's going to happen is we've had the down. It may even go down a little bit more, but it'll bubble around
along
like this for the next couple of years, and then it'll slowly go up again.
Cool.
Unfortunately, it never goes up as fast as what it goes down.
Yeah.
Unless there's a unique circumstance, like you say. So we've got 2 or 3 years, I think, of just drifting along, and that's a wonderful time to buy and sell. It's a fair market at the moment. Your house will sell well if it's well priced and well represented. Yeah. But if it's slightly overpriced, it'll just sit there.
You get nailed. Yeah. Now, Cameron, so you've spoken to us about your professional prep. I want to know about what you do. What Cameron Bailey, the dad, the loving partner, the friend of others, the thinker, the executive hippie. What does he do as he looks into the year?
We had a wonderful 2 weeks away. We were lucky enough to go over to Hawaii and have some sun, and we just relaxed. I wasn't on the phone very much. I didn't have to check my phone every morning, and it was just wonderful. We had some great times with the girls swimming in the pool, and
apart from those Americans who put their bloody towels on the things
to Lynette
in
when
the
I was
morning.
there that unless you're up at 6 in the morning, you don't get a seat by the pool.
So I would get a seat because I'd be up.
Just annoyed me, but anyway. But that's the sort of thing. It's a lovely time to relax and regroup and work out some family goals.
Yeah.
And just spend time with the kids. The kids are growing up so quickly these days. The girls now are 13 and they're little women, So, and it's scary because it still feels like yesterday I was in the hospital giving birth to them.
Exactly.
So, it gave me a real eye opener of in the next 3 or 4 or 5 years.
Changes.
It's going to change again very quickly.
Yeah, it does.
And someone said to me once, the first 35 years go very slowly, and then the next 35 years go like that. And it's true, I'm 45, and the last 10 years have just gone so quickly. So makes me appreciate it.
It does. I mean, Kim, that's so interesting. We're talking about 35 years, and just this week I've done 30 years.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And I have never told anyone. And one of the guys, we've had this beautiful new manager, and he thought it'd be great to surprise me. And I don't like surprises, but just to reflect on that time, and in this incredible industry and the people that you meet, and the thing that resonated with me is the difficult things, the really big challenges brought the best out in me and the business, and all the painful stuff is behind me.
Yeah.
That's yesterday. Yeah. And you can just grow from that. So there were so many good learnings.
I think the best business is done when there's a bit of friction, isn't there? Because it sounds wonderful when the market's booming and you're making lots of money, But really, there's no challenges with that,
and often no growth, eh?
Yeah.
And there's also, you see an absence of gratitude.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks, hey, this will last forever, and it never does. There's cycles. So that's beautiful.
The other thing I do is I look at, like, I've got a real thing this year on health and well-being.
Yeah.
I always do. I've always got, try these weird things, and my girls tease me because I've bought these, sheets for the bed that are earth to the ground. It's meant to be really good for you. And then
and what do they look like, sheets
they're
that
just
are
like
earth to the
normal
ground?
sheets, but they've got all these wires going through them apparently, and you plug them into the wall, which earths to the ground, and it's good for your body and inflammation and things like that. So they didn't last long. I didn't really have much of an effect, but I try all these sort of things. But I'm into it at the moment. I'm into red light therapy, and I'm into hyperbaric chambers.
Yeah.
So I haven't had a hyperbaric chamber yet since I've been back. I haven't had the time this week, but I'm going to get into it. Kim's had 4 this week, so she's thoroughly into it.
Whoa.
So, but the health benefits and everything that come from it is wonderful.
I love
so
that.
I really want to get into health and well-being. I think you can have everything in the world, but if you haven't got your health, you've got nothing.
Totally. Cool.
How about you?
Well, professionally, I'm always 6 months in advance.
Yeah.
So when we are entering 2024, in the last quarter of 23, we have got the calendars out. We're looking at growth and development, what that program's going to look like for our team, and I'm really excited about that this year. We're looking at all the events, things that might be kind of like special activities, special incentives, all of those sorts of things. So really doing that, and that allows me to come into the year feeling excited, but also prepared.
Yeah.
I think of preparedness as a success factor, as a building block in being successful. So that's really, really good. So feeling great about that. Launching our theme next week, which I won't say today, but in 10 days, which with Gilbert and Oka, which will be absolutely fabulous. And personally, very interested, of course, in health and well-being, not so much in hyperbaric chambers, but I might go into that, but really working hard with my mental health, working hard in that space, spending a lot of time with friends and family, and just trying to do things that bring out the absolute best in me. Like I really, lots of thinking, lots of reading. I write constantly. I write for 3 magazines, and just getting better all the time, being a great mentor, being the best partner I could be to John, being a loving mother, being a wise counsel for my friends and my kids and my family, so that they've got a soft place to land, so really enjoying that space. So I feel great about 2024, and summer 2023 was bloody tough.
What I notice about it is that we actually go away, and these quiet times we're actually trying to not just relax and drink, and we're actually, even though there's a bit of that, we're actually thinking, and we're very actually learning. I mean, I spent most of my days by the pool listening to podcasts about all sorts of things, about business, about health, about well-being, about real estate, about
we might release some of those, Cam. We might release, what we might get out is, with our next wisdoms, we'll release our podcast listens, and we'll also release the books that we're looking at. So it'll be between the two of us, it'll be very, very diverse. But I love the fact you talked about family goals as well. We've been doing those as a family since our kids were tiny. I've got these journals that I could give to them, and
that's something I learned from you guys. At this time of year, you always set it up.
We've always set it up, so we do a review of the previous year. Even when our eldest son Harry was overseas, he would send his goals across, and he's been a ski professional for many years, working in that industry, and he would send across what he hoped to achieve and alluded to, and that's been beautiful. And this Christmas we had our young niece with us, and we were sitting down quietly just doing them, and she said, "Oh, what are you doing?" I said, "Oh, we're just doing some family goals." "And where are you putting them?" I said, "In our journal." And she goes, "Oh, can I give you some?" And so we've now started that, and just that's been such a beautiful thing. And also for our friends to see it and think, gosh, it's not all hocus pocus or a bit silly. It's actually a beautiful, intentional thing that you can do together, and it's been very powerful. So
it's all the work behind the scenes that nobody sees that gets you there. I
review every day. I review those goals and intentions daily. That's part of my daily work rituals, my daily waking morning ritual.
I was talking to somebody before Christmas. It was either someone in my team or maybe someone in the office about planning and goals setting and stuff like that. I do that quite a lot, and I actually, in the area, I really enjoy that these days. And I showed them my goals from like 6 or 7 years ago, because I could pull them out from my diary, and I can actually remember them so vividly, that which ones I've done. So it's amazing to look back through. It's a wonderful feeling to look back through them and say you've done them all.
You can, and I write little comments. Achieve that, and also, like, if you have a wish list, that's why we've been having some of these incredible travel trips. Because it's a good idea to see the Antarctic before we have much more global warming. And to see animals in Africa, and I guess this occupation of ours has allowed us to follow some of those dreams. You can follow your dreams in real estate.
Well, it also shows you that you're only limited by your mindset and the people around you. Because I also talked to one of the other girls in the office who's only been in real estate for a couple of years, and I remember when she came to real estate, and I talked to her when she first started, and I mean, I can do sort of anywhere from 7 to 10 auctions a week if we're really going strong. And she was coming from another company, and the idea of doing more than two auctions a weekend or a month was almost horrendous. And now that person's actually doing 3 or 4 a week herself,
and beautifully,
so
no sacrifice in any of the standards that she'd always held.
So if you don't sit down and think about it and actually get your head around where you're going, you're going to go nowhere. Because I can look back to where I was doing so many auctions a year and thinking, geez, that's a real bloody push. I don't know how I'm going to get there. And that was only 8 or 9 years ago. And now I'm doing that within 3 months. So, like, it's amazing.
And you're not puffed.
It's amazing.
And your clients are happy.
And I'm actually doing better business. I've probably got a bit more time off at the moment. And earning more money. So, like, it's a really interesting thing. Your mind holds you back, but you're also limited by the people around you. And this is the big thing for me.
You reflect who is around you, don't you? That is, you've got to be around people that uplift and inspire and hold those values.
And push,
push.
Matthew McConaughey still does that great thing. You've got to have somebody to chase. And if you don't know the insides of how real estate works at a high level, then you're never going to get there. I see all these agents out there trying to be me or trying to be better in their real estate business, but they've got no guidance or no experience around them to actually show them how to get there. No one can do it themselves.
We talk to people about that, You, as you said,
that's our job. Our job.
You wouldn't do it on your own. As fabulous as you are, you've got great people
around me
with you.
No one can do it on their own.
Same.
Michael Jordan wasn't the greatest basketball player in the world by himself.
Scotty,
Richie McCaw wasn't.
yeah.
So this is the whole thing. Surround yourself, and this is what I think. Surrounding myself by the right people is what I've done every year, but I'm really conscious of doing it in the next few years as well.
Who's in your tribe?
Yeah.
Who's part of my tribe?
So that's my biggest tip for 2024: surround yourself by the right people. Make brave decisions. We have agents come and talk to us, don't they? And they're not brave enough to jump ship
they're afraid
from another company because they are comfortable where they are. Fortune will favour the brave.
I
what do you think about that? I mean, what's
definitely, I think fortune favours the brave. Where would we be? Where would both of us be if we just stayed where we were? I'd be still doing night shift. You'd have a different role as a concierge, or you might have gone on to go back to medicine or any of those sorts of things, Cam. But I'm excited about the life that I've been able to carve out, and I do encourage other people to live to their potential.
Yeah, that's the key.
Live to your bloody potential.
Yeah.
Don't live down. Dream up.
Yeah.
And that's from 2 self-made, working class kids, whose both sets of parents constantly worry about us if everything's going to be okay. You're going to be okay. I've been reading in the paper, it's not looking good for real estate. We'll be okay, Dad. So funny. Cam, are there any themes that you are noticing this early in the year? Because you've been getting a lot of calls from people. Is there anything coming across?
I think there's going to be a wash of stock this year, is my pick. I was talking to someone in the office only yesterday, actually, at our welcome back lunch at Harcourt's, and they were a great agent, but not a super busy agent. Already they had 6 listings. And I thought, wow, they got 6 listings already. There's going to be a wash of listings in the next few weeks. So I think there's probably pent up frustration. I think with the election last year, a lot of people said, hey, look, we're just going to let it all settle and we're going to sell our house in February, March this year. So I think...
And they're doing it.
Yeah, maybe 20-30% of the listings we didn't get, which is why we were a little bit busy before Christmas and selling stuff, is because there wasn't enough stock.
Yeah.
Now, what you could find in the next few months is that there's a wash of stock and it's going to push prices down, give buyers choice, and it could come back the other way really hard.
Yeah.
So trying to be really alert on what's happening at the moment. I think the market's great, but I think it's still volatile.
Yeah.
I think it could go either way pretty quickly.
Cam, we're going to do one last thing, and we might pick this up in our next Wisdoms, but you're noticing people calling you who have got that asset-rich, cash-poor scenario going on in their lives as the new rates come out and the new insurances, and they're sort of thinking, jeepers, what do I do? And I know they're calling you.
Yeah, it's a big thing at the moment. I think that with a change in the economy in the last year, interest rates gone up, cost of living's gone up, everybody's hurting. You know, like there's these wealthy commercial landlords out there and all the interest rates have gone up. So there's not as much cash washing around in the bin. So they're all looking about what they should sell, what they should do, what properties are working for them. And I think it's a real year of reconciliation. And there's nothing wrong with selling the odd property at the moment. I even thought, you know, I've got a block of flats that I don't really like too much. I thought I might sell that and put that into another property because there's going to be a lot of opportunity. Where there's a bit of pressure, there's also
doing
opportunity.
The same thing. We're doing the same thing.
I've had a lot of calls of people just asking for advice. You know, and I think that's smart because even the best of us, I don't buy a property without speaking to Polly and John or
Jack. We talk to Jack. We talk to
like
you.
That. So, you know, like the best people talk to people before they make business decisions. And it's not because they have to, it's because it's a wise thing to do. So I've had lots of calls about people thinking, hey, I think I might sell this place. What's the market going to be doing? Is it a good thing to sell? Can I take some money off the table? There's a lot of people probably in Christchurch that have had rebuilds done for them, so they've been in a house, an old house maybe. I met some people the other day, they were in an old house, they got a fantastic rebuild for them after the earthquakes that they wouldn't have paid for, and now they're probably asset rich with a big multi-million-dollar home, but probably a little bit cash poor. And then interest rates have gone up, cost of living's gone up, and it's just hurting a little bit to probably maintain that property. And they think this is a wonderful time to actually sell it.
To move on.
Realise a few $1 million off the table. Maybe buy a cheaper property and put another couple of $1 million into investment property. So that's what it is. I mean, my one warning with that is make sure you buy the right property. You know, time takes care of the right property. There's a lot of people out there
jumping into
anything and probably paying too much for the wrong property and getting burnt the other end. So what we are seeing is good properties hold their value. They don't come back as much, but you can't just buy anything. You know, like you can't just go and buy any property and think that it's going to get massive capital gain and you're going to make lots of money. I actually think my biggest tip is don't worry about what you pay for it. Because if you're buying the right property, paying an extra $10,000 or $20,000 comes out in the wash, it's actually buying the right property.
Buy the right property.
Underlying land's the key thing. It goes back to bread and butter. What was the first house you bought?
It was a house in Vauxhall Street in Bishopdale.
That was for you to live in?
Yes, it was.
Was there potential in it that you could do it up?
Johnny and I did it up. We bought it, I think, for like 52,000, and I think we sold it for like 73, which was massive then because we're talking very early 80s, 83.
I'm the same. The first house I bought was a character villa with underlying land. It had actually L3 zone land, but had potential to do up. And this is the whole thing. You're buying these houses with potential that you can add value to. You can hopefully insulate yourself from the market coming down, or maybe if the market goes up a little bit, you can make a lot of money. You go and buy a brand new townhouse, you go and buy something you can't add any value to, you're relying on the market to take values up and down. So be smart when you buy.
Be smart. So, Cam, you know, everybody says to us, all the specialists say, hey, you're only supposed to talk for 45 seconds or 2 minutes max, and we keep talking and talking. But it's really because there's so much wisdom in what we're saying. So we're grateful that anybody listens. We know lots of people do, and they can get questions through to us this year.
Questions are the best things for us, aren't they? We love questions because then we can specifically talk about them.
And we'll always be totally transparent and true in that space. Probably gets us into a bit of trouble, but it's been such a pleasure to talk to you, my friend.
Beautiful. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.